Why did they call him Nachum Ish Gam Zu, the Gam Zu man? Because no matter what would happen to him, he would respond, Gam Zu L'Tovah. This too is for the good. You have to remember he was a great scholar. He was very smart. He was the one that actually took Rabbi Akiva, who came as a shepherd at 40 years old, and he was an ignoramus at that time and did not know a word of Torah. And Nachum Ish Gam Zu took him into the academy. And Rabbi Akiva was intimidated by these young 18-year-olds who are legal scholars of the Talmud, and here he was 40 years old. And Nachum Ish Gam Zu said that the Torah is like water, and water can melt through and permeate even a heart of stone. Nachum Ish Gam Zu was a very special person. Now you have to remember that in these days it was the time when Israel was occupied by Rome. And when Israel was occupied by Rome, the Roman Caesar could make any decree at will. And there were times that the Roman Caesars would prohibit the study of Torah. In fact, Rabbi Akiva, who came after Nachum, he himself lost his life because he was teaching Torah in the time of the Romans that prohibited the study of Torah. So one of the things that they had to do was try to appease the Roman Caesar. So they would have to send a delegation from Israel to Rome and sort of make nice to them. So it says here that once the Jews wished to send the Caesar a gift to gain his favor, they asked themselves, who should we send to present this gift on our behalf? And they replied, why don't we send Nachum Ish Gam Zu? After all, he regularly experiences miracles, and we need a miracle right now. Called Mulumad Benisim, he was trained in miracles. He had a higher level of faith. He had a higher level of trust. He also was a very spiritualist. He was very into his kindness, and God showed him kindness. So what did they do? They provided Nachum with a chest filled with jewels and pearls as the gift, and sent him on his way. During his journey, he had to spend the night in a certain inn. It wasn't rated 5 stars or 3 stars, maybe minus. During the night, the folks living at the inn surreptitiously removed all the valuables from the chest and refilled it with plain soil. The next morning, Nachum realized what happened. There was soil and little rocks in it. And unfazed, he trustingly declared, Gam Zu L'Tovah, this is also for the good. What does this mean? He had such trust that everything will turn out. And he said it's by divine providence that he has soil and rocks. And he's still on a mission, so it must be for good. So Nachum arrived at the Caesar's palace and dutifully presented his gift. The royal officers opened the chest and saw it was filled with soil. The Caesar roared, the Jews are mocking me, and he was about to execute the Jewish emissaries. Unfazed, what did Nachum Ish Gam Zu say? He trustingly declared, Gam Zu L'Tovah, this is also for the good. Just then Elijah the prophet appeared before the Caesar in the guise of one of his trusted ministers, and he suggested perhaps this is the special spoil from the Jewish patriarch Abraham, when he threw his soil in his war against the kings, as it says in Genesis, it miraculously turned into swords mid-ear. This is actually taken from the Midrash. When he threw stubble, it turned into arrows. Now, the king had to say, the Jews can't be that stupid sending me a basket full of earth and rocks. There must be something there. So therefore, whatever this guy's minister said to him made sense. So they were at that time, the Romans were at that time at war with a province that had proven itself indomitable. They took some of this earth, tested it by throwing it towards the enemy lines, and guess what? It worked, and rapidly conquered that province as a result. When the Caesar realized that the gift of soil indeed contained miraculous powers, he orders the servants to enter his treasury and fill the chest with precious jewels and pearls. They presented the chest to Nachum Ish Gam Zu as a token of appreciation and sent him off with great honor. Which, of course, at that time, what he wanted wasn't the gift of the jewels, but he wanted the goodwill, which he got the goodwill. So what do we learn over here? Why is the Talmud telling us the story? Here, Nachum was the representative of the Jewish people to foster a good relationship between the Jews in Israel and the Roman Emperor. And yet something happened, and it looked as if it was the end of the world, and it turned out to be good.